Welcome to The Business Behind Your Business, the podcast where we delve into the financial strategies and insights that drive success for small and medium-sized business owners. I'm your host, Paul Sweeney, and in each episode we bring you expert guests who share practical advice, real-world experiences, and actionable tips to empower you on your business journey. Whether you're a seasoned entrepreneur or just starting out, get ready to uncover the secrets to success and gain valuable insights into the business behind your business. Today's guest is Leanne Shelton from Right Time Marketing. Now, Leanne was a guest on the podcast a couple of years ago, and we were talking about the topic of how content marketing can help your business increase sales. Now, I don't think there's a lot of change in that because content marketing can still help you increase your sales. But in the last 2 years, there's been a lot of change in the environment we work in. And one of the biggest changes, and according to a lot of people, one of the most significant changes of recent times is the occurrence of artificial intelligence. And you would have been living under a rock if you've not heard the word ChatGPT in the past year. So, Leanne, welcome back. You've been doing this for a long time, 15 years at least of professional writing, working for not-for-profits, corporates, governments. Well sought after. You've appeared on a lot of podcasts, a lot of radio and TV, and even been requested to present internationally on this topic. So we're quite privileged to have you with us today. Looking forward to it. But Leanne, what has been this big thing that's happened with AI and ChatGPT?
Yeah. So, well, first of all, thanks for having me back, Paul. I appreciate it. So that's the thing. So as a content marketer and copywriter, well, basically we were the ones that first felt the burn of ChatGPT come out because ultimately it writes stuff, and we are paid to write stuff. So I felt at the beginning of last year when, everyone has started to, ChatGPT had been around for a few months, people started to explore it. And I noticed that conversions had started to drop. And in the past, if I got someone on the phone, I actually got quite a good conversion rate happening. So I thought, okay, I've got to pay attention to this AI thing. And I've got two choices here. Either dig my head in the sand and rock in the corner, or I could actually use my expertise and experience and apply that to teach people on how to use AI effectively with the human touch for quality output. And because I just saw so many people talking about the prompts, so the input, but not many people were talking about the output and how to look at whether it was decent quality or not. And the thing is, if you don't know, you don't know. So if you don't know, you're asking it, to do copywriting for you, marketing strategy, whatever. But if you don't know what good content looks like or a good strategy looks like, and you're just taking this at face value, then, you're running at this risk of your brand being damaged, of, putting out poor content, thinking about things the wrong way. So I've gone, okay, I'm taking a holistic view here. And I I made the decision, I'm going to start running training on this subject. I had 150 people sign up to my first free webinar. I thought, okay, this is a thing. And it's just gone from there. Yeah, so speaking at conferences, summits, podcasts. I was asked to speak in Kuala Lumpur, and they've asked me to go back again in a few months' time. And I'm like, okay, this is here to stay. The copywriting world's completely flipped on its head, and the AI stuff is becoming my core focus now.
Yeah, and I think what's happened that's been quite interesting to observe is that there was this big buzz around it and everybody thought this is going to be the savior. This is going to help us do so much so quickly. But a lot of people rushed into it and didn't actually look at, well, what is, as you mentioned, the output, what is being generated. And I know we had some excitable junior accountants employed to write some, training material for our clients and using ChatGPT as a guide. And they were quite deflated when they would present their finished product to me, and I'd say it's all wrong.
That's the thing. So many people are just diving into prompts like they would in a Google search, just shouting out demands, expecting information back. But there's actually a lot more that goes into it, which I learned when I started self-teaching myself. So I started, look, there weren't that many books on ChatGPT on the market. I found one good one. I listened to a podcast and I learned about the whole prompt engineering thing. So training up the AI tool to understand my business, understand my audience, and understand the ultimate outcome I wanted, and then work backwards from that. So it's actually unleashed a lot of critical and creative thinking differently, a different part of the brain than actual writing, because you're thinking, all right, how can I use this tool to get what I want? And I know that, and I know with my marketing, hat on, how to use that for marketing purposes. But yeah, anyone who's the whole world just thought they could become a copywriter, a marketer, or whatever else, a business coach, instantly with this tool. But you can't. There's so much more that goes into it. And yeah, otherwise you're going to end up with content that just doesn't sound like you. It sounds robotic. I'm very savvy to ChatGPT typical phrases, which we're all, I'm more and more people I'm speaking to, not just copywriters, are seeing those. And then, yeah, the brand, that know, like, and trust factor can be affected if you aren't putting that effort in to train it up accordingly. So that's my mission, to make sure people use it and keep that human touch.
Yeah, so I think what I'm hearing here, and look, we've had this explained to us. I think that it's an accelerator. It's a tool. It's not the savior. It's not the end product. But there's some care that needs to be taken in using it wisely. Certainly, it can provide some great advantages and time-saving capabilities, but we do need to use it wisely and understand how we're actually controlling the tool. Is quite powerful, but if we use it incorrectly, we're going to get some damaging results.
Yeah, so anyone's just jumping in without proper strategy involved, that's just going to affect people. So that's where I've been running my trainings in-house and face-to-face, and I started up in March this year, 2024, the AI DIY Club. So it's actually a little safe space for people to play around with prompts. I can provide my input from a marketer. So the thing is, with using the ChatGPT and similar tools, it's garbage in, garbage out, right? So if you don't know what you're doing, if you don't know the full strategy, if you don't know the output, then you just otherwise don't know how to assess the quality of the content that you're getting. Or you'll get back really poor quality and get frustrated and actually spend more time trying to tweak it than if you just written it yourself. So the thing I tell my club members and anyone who I train, it's about, think about the end picture, the end goal. What do you actually want? And train up the tool. Speak to it like a virtual assistant, not just like, don't just shoot demands at it. Treat it like a person, because it has been trained like that. And then really give it as like really thorough prompts with clarity, with just like in terms of a briefing, right? You wouldn't just say to an intern, for example, or an offshore assistant, can you put together a social media strategy for me on this topic? Because there's just so much room for error there. You would say, okay, do a social media strategy for, June to December, and it includes posts for Instagram and LinkedIn, and we want posting times of this and this. I want every month these themes. Be as thorough as possible, and that's then when you're more likely to get your desired outcome. But this is where anyone who is experienced in marketing or experienced in copywriting or doing these things, right? We know what goes into it. We know what the end picture is. So then we can work backwards from that. So that's why I get a little bit upset when I hear about marketing agencies, sacking their whole copywriting team, or many other copywriters out there not getting work because people are using AI. If the people using AI don't understand the strategies involved, like for marketing purposes, or don't understand what strategies are going to go into like good structure or a good story in content, then they're shooting themselves in the foot. But unfortunately, we have to wait until they realize that.
Look, I think that goes back to our original conversation 2 years ago, where we were talking about how you can use content marketing to help your business increase sales. But on the other side, bad content is going to damage your sales, because if you're putting up bad content, it shows you're not really caring. So, why would I, as a consumer, come and purchase from you if that's the approach that you've got to it? If you've got a bad approach,
I've actually heard the thing, if you didn't put the effort into writing it, why should I put the effort into reading it? And this is one of my little pet hates of people using AI to write social media posts or their emails, or actually comment to social media posts as well. I've got a couple of repeat offenders that follow me, and it's a little bit frustrating. we can all see it. And it's just that I'm all about authenticity. And I've actually just started to launch a new brand called Human Edge AI Training for my AI training to come under. So I wanted the word human in there because I think that's where a lot of people are fearful of AI. It's about losing that human touch. And so I say, well, you don't have to, but ultimately the habits that you develop now in the initial stages, that's what's going to kind of depict what the future is going to look like, right? So even I keep going through this whole little tailspin as a copywriter. Ethically, is it okay for me to use AI to get first drafts done? Yes, it is. Even though I kind of think, oh, but I'm not, I'm being paid to do this, and should I actually be doing it all from scratch? And the thing to remember is it's just a tool, and I have to remind myself this too. It's just a tool, just like accountants use calculators, use Xero, use QuickBooks, use accounting software, right? Or graphic designers use Photoshop or Canva. AI like ChatGPT should be seen as a tool only to help us to complement our skills and our brain, our human brain, not replace us. And I also get another pet peeve is all that fear mongering I see on socials of, all these jobs are going to be replaced, and by just doing this, and then you see a series of prompts that mean nothing to the average person, and it's like, well, no, we're still going to need people, just like Canva's been around for a while. I still go to a graphic designer for design. Accounting software's been around for a while. You probably still go to a bookkeeper or accountant who knows what they're doing. And I think that's what's going to happen more and more as people play around with these tools, realize the quality is not there, then they come back to the experts and say, okay, it might be different. Like our roles are very likely to be different in terms of writers, marketers, and whatever role you are in your business. That's probably going to look very different in a couple of years' time. But it's a matter of embracing it and rolling with it. And yeah, so I think for me, I might be asked more about prompts or being asked to coach them through what goes into a good prompt, or helping them create the skeletons for them to then develop and tell them how to do that with AI. It's just about thinking a little bit differently. I think it's not a way to replace you, it's a way to complement you, or I'll give you that first starting point when you've got that blank screen of death.
Mm-hmm. Look, I've always been a fan of, and I've always, in a way, I've described myself as a lazy accountant because I always like to find a simpler, faster way of getting to the same result. And what that means is if I can find a tool that helps me get there faster, then I'll use it. But it's got to get to the right point. If there's no point in me doing something fast but getting an error, and people have been scared of AI, or particularly when ChatGPT came out. But the reality of it is, if anybody's been using Xero, they've been using AI in their accounting, because it's been auto-suggesting based on your previous transactions or how you've posted previous transactions, where you're going to post it. It's been learning how you code your accounting entries and suggesting to save you time. So we've been using AI in tools like that for a long time, but we just haven't called it AI. We've called it, I don't know, we put another label on it to make it sound more imaginative and resourceful, but we have been using it. It's just progressed, but it's progressed at such a rapid rate in the last 2 years that we're at this stage where we seem to be hurtling along. And I think you and I were both attended a seminar or workshop recently, and Dale Beaumont made the suggestion that we've either got to be one of the people that makes it happen, or we're going to watch it happen, or we're going to sit back and wonder what happened. And I think there's a couple of different schools there and where you stand. And I think what you're doing here in terms of adapting your business and looking at how I can use this, you're at that leading edge, making things happen, but you're also controlling the direction it's taking you.
Yeah, 100%. And I want to be a leader in this space in terms of how to use it correctly, with that human touch. So I'm not writing my socials with AI. Like, they all generally come from me, the passion, everything like that. I actually had this job yesterday where I'm, writing award submissions at the moment. And I did the transcript, like I did the briefing interview with a client, got a transcript. And then I was like, is it okay for me just to upload this transcript to AI and tell them, tell it the questions I needed to answer using the transcript. And then, it actually, at first glance, it was actually really, really good. And I'm like, oh my gosh, did I just do this thing in 5 minutes? No. And for actually initially, I thought, okay, it'll probably take me an hour. I'll still go through with a fine tooth comb. I will check it. I'll refer back to the transcript again to make sure I didn't miss anything and my notes. And you know what? It actually still took me 4 hours to complete it because I'm thorough and I know, even though I took an initial shortcut, like you just mentioned, I still know when it's not right. And I'm like, hang on, I remember this core thing she said in the interview, in that briefing, that's a real key factor. And I reckon she could win an award based on that. And it was completely missed. So the essence was all there. It gave me an amazing starting point. But it's still missed stuff. And that's why I want people to remember there's still going to be gaps, especially if there's gaps in your knowledge. Because if you haven't prompted it because you didn't know, then it's not going to give you what you actually want, your ideal outcome, because it doesn't know that you want it, because you don't know that you want it. And I mean, that Beaumont thing, he put it as another thing that really stuck with me was we're only at like the 10th percent of where this is going to go. And ultimately, where we are in AI right now, it's just a tiny, tiny, tiny tip of the iceberg. It's going to end up being like electricity, Would you think, oh, it's getting dark, I'm going to light 10 candles for this room? No, you flick a switch, right? So I think I'll start, and everyone else will start, like, stop overthinking. Can I use AI for this? Can I use AI for that? Because it'll just become natural. But we still need to put that human lens on it. And I think that's where a lot of people are failing just because they don't know. And that's where I'm hoping to teach people. You need to still put yourself into it, add layers to it, add stories to it, add extra research to it, add interviews to it. You can have that great starting point, but don't ever accept that first draft.
Yeah, I think there's so many things we can learn from here. And you mentioned like there's gaps in the knowledge that's there, but there's also gaps in that way of thinking. It doesn't have that human thinking because like you mentioned, there's that quote. And unless you write the prompt to say, include reference to this quote is pivotal, yes. It's not going to know. And look, if you use the wrong word like I just did, you're probably going to get a different response as well. So
yeah. Yeah, that's it. So you've got to really be thorough and don't be afraid to have long, massive prompts, or even the way you train it up can take multiple steps, right? So this is how for example, I would do a prompt. It's not just a one-liner, which I think a lot of people are guilty of. I would say, okay, and I treat like a friend, right? Hi, Chatty, or good morning. Today, I'd like your help with this project. For your background, here's and I have the paid version of ChatGPT, for example, so I've got access to real-time data. It obviously varies with different tools on the paid and free versions, but I'll say, here's a website link to that client. I'll also attach a transcript. I'm also attaching this. Please do not take any further action at this stage. Just review it and let me know that you understand. Right? Great. Then I'll say, okay, what we're doing today is writing website content, or we are, say what the purpose is. And then I'll say that here are the keywords we want, or here's the key information you need to include. Here's how many words maximum we want to put in there. This is the brand voice we want. It's classy, sophisticated, or it's conversational and down to earth, all these things. And I say, okay, do you understand? And then I might go again, okay, here's a template for you to work. Do you need any? And I even ask things like, do you need any more information from me to do this job properly? And sometimes I might come back and say, yes, actually, can you give me reviews? Can you give me some statistics on this? And I'm like, great. So it's more of a collaboration then, not just me just shouting demands. And then I said, let's write the content. And then I will look at it and go, I like that. Can you make it a bit like that? So all this stuff, it takes time. And a lot of people, you just said earlier, are jumping onto it to save time. It's all about efficiency, and we're jumping on for efficiency's sake. And I think a lot of the time quality goes out the window for the sake of that productivity. It took me 4 hours to improve that award, but without AI, it could have easily taken me 8 hours, right? So your time spent on projects will be lessened, but don't expect it to be done in 5 minutes. not if you want it done properly. And I think that's something important to remember.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, the process you just described, if we go back and look at some of the other, or listen to some of the other conversations we've had about getting the most out of your employees, that process that you've described and how to, I guess, provide the brief to AI for a job is no real difference to how we should be providing the brief to our real live human employees. But often we don't. We just say, right, go and write some web content. You know what to do. And in a way that, when the employee comes back and gives us some garbage content, we go, well, you can go and do better. But again, the onus comes back to us. We're in control of the process. And if we're giving bad instructions, we're going to get bad outputs.
Yeah, and that's when you realize, oh, hang on, I missed something there. So I actually had a client who said, yeah, I'm trying to get to write social media posts based on this program or something. And I'm just saying, write social media posts, and it's giving me garbage. And I said, well, you didn't say how many. You didn't say what topic in particular to focus on. You didn't say word count. You didn't say the audience. So he's like, oh, he didn't realize, because in his head, he knew what he wanted. But he hadn't, well, I want to say verbalize. You can actually, there is a tool you can verbalize it to AI, or just type it. And that's where, you might find it easier to say it if you have it on your phone. The phone version has the microphone, or you can go old school, record yourself on Zoom, just talking through website copy you want, and here's the direction I want, and then get the transcript and upload that AI or hand to your employee, whatever you'd be doing, right? So there's all these things, these extra steps that go into it to ensure you've got that. It has the clarity, you have that clarity. And it's sometimes only when you get garbage that you realize, oh, I'm actually not sure what I want.
And look, that happens quite a lot. Sometimes you'll go down a track and you think, hang on, really, what I'm trying to answer, I could have just said in a couple of paragraphs myself, but it's taken me all this time and effort to get down that route and come back and think, well, hang on, I knew the answer to start with. So look, I'm seeing a lot of different applications here, and we've talked about marketing and copy here. Again, and obviously we're doing that because that's your area of expertise, and you've got a lot of knowledge and history there, which AI is still struggling to catch up with, I'll say. But getting help, because I often, I listen to a lot of podcasts, I listen to a lot of material because I'm always learning. But I'm often hearing, it's just these 3 simple steps. But when you go down and do those 3 simple steps, you lose a lot in the translation, and there's a lot more to learn. So I think you've come up with a solution to help small, medium business owners in moving forward with their journey in AI and doing it properly, because if you can avoid the mistakes because somebody else has already made them and is going to lead you on a better path, then do it. So Leanne, how about you tell us a little bit about the solution that you've come up with for business owners?
Yeah, so I've established the AI DIY Club, and initially I was thinking, I have to, record all these videos and create this whole training thing. But from what I was hearing from other small, medium-sized businesses, they actually just want to do it, and they just don't know what they're doing, and they want to just apply it. They don't want to have more and more training that overwhelms them. So I thought, okay, well, from my point of view, this was easy to launch as well, because I didn't have to put all that time into pre-recording stuff that would get outdated really quickly, right? Because that was my other thing. Things are changing so quickly in the AI space. So what I've established is the AI DIY Club is ultimately a subscription model where, for a low cost every month, at the time of recording, $67 plus GST a month, which is absolutely nothing. And every week there's a 2-hour AI playtime. And in that, we always have a monthly theme, a monthly topic. So say it's email marketing is the May theme coming up. So we break it into different topics each week. So from the email marketing, for example, the first week we're going to cover email sequences and how we can get AI to help us with that. So I do a little lesson. It might be a 10, 15-minute lesson. What's the importance? So copywriting, marketing hat on. And then here are the prompts that you can experiment with to get some things created. All right, 25 minutes Pomodoro. For those that don't know, that's basically, screens off, silent, focus time, no distractions. Go apply what we just did to your business, not some made up business. We're not just playing around for the sake of it. You apply it to your business and see what you get. because you know your business, and if it works really well, you can then actually use that. So, yep, we try that, come back. Hey, everyone, what worked, what didn't work? What worked well for you? Can you share with the group? Because, this is a group environment. Or you still struggled. Great. Let's play around with that. Let me see if I can just on the spot work out how to fix that. If I can't, I'll go find out for you. And we do that over a couple of sessions until the 2 hours are up. And then we continue the next week. So the next week will be this week e-newsletters, from email newsletter templates through to fleshing it out, through to whatever. So I've got, the current members are absolutely loving it, just because it is that space, not just to learn, but to apply it and then ask questions. So it's a really good model. And then we have just a weekly Q&A for an hour, which honestly, people stopped attending after the first few weeks once they got their head around things. And now they're going with the flow. But yeah, I've got that available if people want to just ask any AI questions about any tools, and then I will either provide them the answer or go find it out for them. So it's been a real fun, engaging, safe space where people are just actually applying it and learning through doing, not just sitting and listening and then trying to find the time later to apply it.
Mm-hmm. So, and I think that group environment, that accountability there will help with the learning process and your understanding and the ability to ask questions from real people, not just AI chatbots, but to ask real questions and get real feedback is really helpful in the way that a lot of people learn still. And so look, we're going to put some links to that in the show notes, because I think that's really helpful. And certainly if you're looking for the links and you're driving at the moment, just remember to go to the businessbehindyourbusiness.com website and look up this podcast episode, and all the notes will be there for you, and the link to the AI DIY Club. So that would be great. Now, Leanne and I could talk for hours about AI and a lot of the exciting stuff, because I know just from our brief conversation since we both went to this event, a full-day event on reimagining the purpose of your business with AI. And I don't think I've walked away from a day's conference with as many notes and ideas and action items. So we could turn this into a very lengthy podcast if we went through all of that. But I'm thinking it'd be great, Leanne, to just get you back and just go, here's five tools that are exciting, and here's how you could use them. Because I'd love to hear what you've got to say about them. There were some exciting things that we've been trying and testing ourselves as a result of that, but there's a lot of applications for business. So how do you feel about that?
Yeah, happy to. And the things as well, there are so many tools out there, and it's very easy to get overwhelmed and bogged down by them all. So I'm only experimenting with a couple at a time myself, just so I'm not getting overwhelmed, because a lot of them do the same things. So, or the quality is not quite there yet. Yeah. So yeah, happy to come back. We do even a mini series. If you think your listeners are interested, like I said, it's constantly evolving, and just when to subscribe to a tool and when not to, and what's the best thing out there. You just got to think backwards, I guess, and what you actually need in your business, and then go forward.
Fantastic. So, Leanne, if we sum this up, what would be the one key thing you want people to remember when they're confronting AI in their business? What would be the one critical thing they need to know?
So AI is here to stay, but humans aren't going anywhere either. So I want you to definitely take on that perspective of how can it complement your skills rather than replace your skills. So as it all comes down to, like, basically the future is what we do now. If we all misuse it and just go, get lazy, and just allow it to just think for us for every aspect of our lives, then we're going to turn into mush. But if we use it as a tool for critical thinking, creative thinking, and help us in different ways we never thought imaginable, then yes, let's do that. Let's follow that path.
That's great. I think we're both on board at the same program of making it happen and getting on board the train and making sure we're full speed ahead and reach the destination that we choose. So, Leanne, thank you for your time. It's been great to catch up with you, and great to hear that you've actually adapted your business when really you've been faced with something quite confronting about and damaging and possibly I guess I'm hesitant to say soul destroying, but that's one way you could have dealt with the situation. But it's encouraging to see how you move forward. And look, I encourage every business owner, when you face these situations, these new technologies, or even these fearful situations, look for the opportunities that are there. There are plenty of opportunities abounding in every situation.
Completely agree. Yeah, see the positives. Don't get sucked into that fear mongering of being replaced.
Fantastic. Well, we know that Leanne's not going to be replaced, and she's there to help you grow your business and get used to using AI in a beneficial way. So thank you again, Leanne, and we look forward to catching up with you again in the future.
Great. Thank you, Paul. Thanks, everyone.
That's a wrap for this episode of The Business Behind Your Business. We hope you found today's discussion insightful and valuable for your business journey. Before we go, don't forget to subscribe to our podcast on your favourite platform. Share it with fellow business owners who could benefit, and send in your burning questions, because we love hearing from you. Missed any of our previous episodes or looking for additional resources to help grow your business? Head over to our website at thebusinessbehindyourbusiness.com. There you'll find our full archive of past episodes, along with show notes, transcripts, and links to valuable resources mentioned in each episode. Your journey to business success continues at thebusinessbehindyourbusiness.com. Until next time, stay inspired, stay informed, and keep building the business of your dreams.